Hey warriors, welcome back to the channel. Most people believe power is about control, about domination, about making others obey. But Machiavelli understood something deeper. Real power begins in the mind. Because once you can't be controlled, you control everything. Look around you. The world isn't ruled by the strongest, the kindest, or the loudest. It's ruled by the thinkers, those who see 10 moves ahead while everyone else is still reacting. Strength fades, charm dies, but strategy endures. The ones who rise are those who think differently. They don't chase emotion. They don't drown in noise. They observe, they calculate, they adapt. And when the world panics, they strike. Machiavelli once said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." He meant that true intelligence isn't about knowing more. It's about acting faster, seeing clearer, and thinking sharper. Because intelligence is the only power that can't be stolen, copied, or destroyed. You either build it, or you remain under the control of those who did. But here's the truth most people never face. Your brain has been programmed to stay weak, to chase comfort, to avoid pressure, to drown in distraction. You scroll through nonsense, argue over nothing, and wonder why you feel powerless. It's not because the world is against you. It's because your mind has stopped evolving. But what if you could rewire it? To think 10 times faster, to read people like open books, to predict outcomes before they unfold, to become so mentally sharp that manipulation can't touch you. That's what I call cognitive edge conditioning, a system that turns your brain into a weapon of precision, discipline, and control. It's not motivation, it's mental evolution, because once your mind becomes stronger than your emotions, you stop reacting and start ruling. Drop this in the comments. My mind is my power. 1. INTLIGANCISTRALPR. True dominance doesn't come from control. It comes from understanding. When your mind is sharper than your environment, you don't fight for power. You attract it. The intelligent don't prove themselves through noise or conflict. They let logic and precision speak for them. Intelligence isn't just knowledge, it's foresight. It's the ability to see beyond emotion, beyond illusion, into the structure of reality itself. When you understand how people think, how they react, and what drives them, you move through life like a chess player among pawns. Most people waste energy trying to appear powerful. The intelligent study, adapt, and predict, because real power is silent. It doesn't shout. It calculates. It moves with intention. Machiavelli said, "There is no other way of guarding oneself against flattery than by letting men understand that to tell you the truth does not offend you." He wasn't just talking about honesty. He was describing intellectual superiority. A strong mind doesn't crave validation. It seeks accuracy. It learns from insults, dissects failures, and turns pressure into focus. Every betrayal becomes information. Every mistake becomes data. That's why intelligence is feared. The manipulator can deceive emotion, but not reason. You can trick someone who feels too much, but never someone who thinks deeply. Train your cognition, and you become untouchable. Not because you know everything, but because nothing surprises you anymore. When you predict, you control. When you observe, you dominate. And when you act with precision, the world bends around your clarity. Drop this in the comments. My intelligence is my weapon. 2. COGMITIEEDGERDTIONING. This is how you create cognitive advantage, a 6-phase system that sharpens your brain under pressure and makes you impossible to manipulate. Step 1. Create cognitive tension. Comfort kills brilliance. Pressure builds clarity. Your brain grows only through resistance, through friction, challenge, and uncertainty. Engineer difficulty into your life. Argue with smarter minds. Read ideas that offend you. Take on problems that have no easy answer. Because tension forces adaptation. Journal your insights, track your reactions. Don't seek comfort, seek challenge. The mind behaves like a muscle. Stress it, and it grows. Leave it soft, and it dies. Train under simulated chaos, cold exposure, timed problem solving, public confrontation, mental silence under pressure. These are not punishments. They are drills. Over time, your mind learns to stay calm while others collapse. That is power. Machiavelli said, "Whosoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times." Drop this in the comments. I embrace resistance. Step to and master predictive thinking. Prediction is the currency of power. Those who can foresee events never panic, because they've already positioned themselves. Study patterns in behavior, notice reactions, track emotional triggers. People repeat themselves more than they realize. Build mental simulations. What happens next? What could go wrong? How can I counter it before it starts? Detach emotion from expectation. Observation without bias is a weapon. When you practice foresight, you no longer react to life. You design it. You become the architect of outcomes. The strategist behind the curtain. Machiavelli said, "All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration." Drop this in the comments. I foresee every move. Step 3. Hey, develop mental agility. Rigidity is death. Agility is survival. The agile mind shifts instantly. It bends without breaking. It thrives in uncertainty. Expose yourself to complexity, fast decisions, incomplete data, and changing circumstances. Train yourself to think in alternatives, not absolutes. Flexibility isn't weakness. It's controlled fluidity. Reframe obstacles. Question assumptions. Hold multiple strategies in your mind and deploy whichever fits the moment. Emotional flexibility is just as vital. Detach from frustration, disappointment, and ego. Respond with logic, not impulse. The agile mind never freezes. It flows like water. Adaptive, intelligent, unstoppable. Machiavelli said, "He who is prudent and lies in wait for an enemy, who is not will be victorious." Drop this in the comments. My mind bends, never breaks. Step 4. Hey, dominate through unpredictability. Predictability is vulnerability. Those who follow patterns can be anticipated and controlled. To dominate, you must become unreadable. Act without visible motive. Change rhythms. Confuse observers. Let others second-guess you. Let uncertainty become your shield. Unpredictability isn't chaos. It's controlled deception. Show one plan, execute another. Be precise with timing. Keep people guessing about who you are and what you want. That hesitation is your advantage. The moment they can't predict you, they can't control you. Machiavelli said, "A wise ruler ought never to keep faith when by doing so it would be against his interests." Drop this in the comments. I am strategically unpredictable. Step 5. I harness emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the invisible engine of influence. Force, charisma, and dominance fade. But emotional control endures. It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about mastering them. Detect the first flicker of anger or fear before it controls you. Read others with surgical awareness, tone, posture, hesitation, rhythm. They reveal what words conceal. Influence begins when you understand emotion deeper than anyone else in the room. A pause, a look, a silence. They all have power. Emotional mastery gives you the ability to shape outcomes without force, to guide, not push, to dominate without ever appearing to. Machiavelli said, "He who becomes master of himself will be master of others." Drop this in the comments. I command my emotions. 3. Becoming the apex thinker isn't a title. It's a state of mind. A place where reaction dies and calculation reigns. The apex thinker doesn't respond to events. He designs them. He bends probability to advantage. He shapes environments to match his intent. To reach this level, you must integrate all disciplines: cognitive tension, predictive mastery, agility, unpredictability, and emotional control. At this stage, hesitation disappears. Decisions are instinctive yet strategic. Social situations become instruments of influence. People believe they're choosing freely, but in reality, they're moving along the paths you designed. The apex thinker thrives in pressure. He doesn't break under scrutiny, he sharpens under it. Because his strength is internal, not circumstantial. Information becomes leverage. Knowledge becomes precision. Complexity becomes clarity. He doesn't seek certainty, he builds it. And when others plot against him, he's already accounted for their next 5 moves. This is not arrogance. It's awareness, the highest form of discipline. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved." If you cannot be both, fear here means respect, the quiet recognition of intellect. Knowledge without action is useless. Intelligence without application is wasted. The world will not wait for hesitation, and neither will opportunity. Pick one principle, apply it relentlessly for 7 days, then watch your perception evolve. Push boundaries, seek discomfort, turn tension into clarity and confusion into leverage. Train your mind to think like no one else, and you'll never be treated like everyone else. Sharpen your focus. Study human nature. Use pressure as your classroom, and protect your cognition like a kingdom, because it is one. When your mind becomes sharper than manipulation, faster than fear, and clearer than chaos, no one can control you again. Your thoughts become strategy, your silence becomes power, your intelligence becomes empire. Machiavelli said, "He who becomes master of himself will be master of others." Drop this final affirmation in the comments. My mind controls destiny.